March 13th, 2025, 5:30. So calling the meeting to order. May I have roll call, please?
Chair Nichols,
Present?
Vice Chair Lucas,
Present.
Trustee Case, Trustee Markle,
Present.
Trustee Olivas. A quorum is present.
Thank you. We'll jump to item number 3, public comment. The public is invited at this time to comment on and discuss any topic that is relevant to or within the authority of this public body. Do we have any public comment? Can I have you come up here, please, Melody? Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. This is awesome. And Melody, if you can touch the green button so you can talk in the microphone. Oh, yeah. And then please state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
My name is Melody Skudlarek, Skudlarek, and I'm here to support the library. I think it's a wonderful institution here in Carson City that reaches out to the whole community. So I'm just thanking y'all.
Melody, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Do we have any other comments? Alrighty then, we will move on to item number 4, approval of the minutes. Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes?
This is Trustee Markle. I move to approve the minutes for January 9th, 2025.
Do I have a second?
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, going on to item number 5. We're going on to 5A, Library Director Representative, and her reports. Sorry, I'm actually reading that for some reason. I don't know if you can answer this question, but I it's kind of maybe a general question. Do you know if Carson City relies on any federal grants that would then roll to the funding the library?
No, they do not.
Thank you.
We are sales tax funded. So the money that we receive comes from sales tax revenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exclusively. Okay.
And also, the only real federal funding that we receive is through the executive, nationally is the executive budget that to the Institute of Museum and Library Services, who then have a grants to states grant program through the Library Services and Technology Act. And so they then disperse that money out to the state library, who then takes that money and disperses it out for collection development and or competitive grants. And then the collection development grant that we actually receive each year from the state is part of their match for that grants to states disbursement.
So if that grant were to go away,
Mm-hmm.
how would that? I hate to ask this question, but I have to.
Well, I know that IMLS is an independent agency, and it hasn't been trashed yet.
Well, that's good, but
Could be.
and the week is young. So I'm just curious, how would that impact? I mean,
Well-
obviously in collections, but
Well, we wouldn't have access to competitive funds through the LSTA funding that's provided to IMLS that then trickles down. But we haven't had a competitive grant. I've not sought a competitive grant for a few years now because I want to make sure that it's something that we can sustain. And then, so how that would really affect us is that because if the state were to not receive any federal funding through the LSTA grant or funding, then they wouldn't have a match that they would have to meet, which means we then wouldn't get the $11,000 that we received, roughly $12,000 that we received for this year's collection development grant. We did receive that extra pile of money, if you recall, because of that Christmas tree fund that we were able to get at the 11th hour, but it's a one-shot. And so we could still get that one-shot money because of it being part of the governor's executive budget. But as far as the state collection development grant money that comes from the state library or is dispersed through the state library, we wouldn't receive that. So it's complicated because it's not really federal funding to us. It's state funding because they're
Correct.
using state money to match the grant. But the bottom line, how it would affect us is we would be down 12 grand.
Okay,
So does that answer?
yes. Okay, thank you. I didn't think so, but it's one of those things that is keeping me up at night.
Any other questions about the financials? No? Okay. So I'm just going to move right into my report. And so unfortunately, I feel like I jinxed us because I went to the city manager's meeting last week or week before and said, we're almost fully staffed. And just when we got those last 2 hourly positions filled, 2 people are leaving. One is leaving to go to a different library that she's been wanting to go to that is within walking distance of her home. So we wish her best of luck. She's an incredible person, great employee. That's Joanna Rowley. Her last day was today. And then we just received resignation after the time of writing that another staff member is actually going to be moving across country and out of country, actually, to attend university for her master's in library science. So again, it's a bummer for us. She's a great employee, but we wish her well, and I have no doubt she will move from strength to strength. Jalen Quibble is our new library assistant. She started on the 3rd. She is great. She is just about to wrap up her master's in library science from the University of Southern Mississippi. So she's taken to the library so far like a duck to water, but I'm almost afraid to say too much because I feel like I've jinxed us in the past. Michael Hansen is also started today, actually, and he's our new senior library assistant. So we've now got 2 senior library assistant positions open and 1 library assistant position open. And then, of course, our workforce development and social services coordinator position is posted. I am hoping to reach out and schedule interviews for that position. I was waiting to see if we had a few more viable candidates, and I think we're ready. So we'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed. So Nevada Reading Week was the March 3rd through the 7th, and we had quite a few turnout, and it was actually very successful. I'd say it was our most successful Nevada Reading Week so far. We also kicked off a Reading Dragons launch party. I'm not sure if I discussed this last time, but to put it in a nutshell, the Reading Dragons is like Pokemon, or if you're my age, it's like trading the Garbage Pail Kids cards. And so you get cards for reading, and then you can trade them with friends. And we made our own cards, so they're Carson City centric, some of them. And we had, if I'm remembering the numbers rightly, on the launch party day, say 90 or less. We also, somewhere around there, I might be conflating the number with, we had a classroom tour of 90 plus kids in an evening, like on a Wednesday night. Yeah, so that was great. We're getting momentum. And then we have our Pom Pom Pals craft program that's become sort of it is a regular program, and we just kind of adjust it for the holiday or the time of year. And so additional info is the fiscal year 26 budget is down the road. We're going to be moving into second round of fiscal 25 augmentations and supplementals here in the next few weeks. And then one thing I did want to mention is my evaluation coming up. And so we'll move forward with that. I didn't want to blindside anyone that when that comes up. So without further ado, we're going to move right into the virtual reality presentation, unless y'all have any other questions for me. No? All right, let's do it.
Well, sorry.
sorry.
I do,
Okay.
and maybe you just don't put it on here anymore, but I haven't seen a couple times reading, like the story time.
Oh,
Do we special story time?
I don't put it on there anymore unless it's outside of our norm of the regular weekly ones that we have. So if we're doing a special story time for a holiday or something like that, I put it on there as a special program. But if it's not a kind of a one-off like that, I don't add it because we do them, we have our baby story time, we have our baby bookworms, pajama, big kid butterflies, buzzing bees. Those are all things that we do routinely. So do you want me to put them on there? I mean, they're
Not
on our
routine-
paper
not
calendar,
Not routinely. Yeah, that's true. They are on your calendar.
and they're also on the website
Yeah.
calendar.
Maybe if something like, wow, there's a lot of kids that turned out this time, or something
Oh.
that stands out. Maybe that would be nice.
Yeah, I sure will. I will say on that note, we've been averaging about 45 to 50 attendees at the Thursday morning. Baby bookworms is crawling, pun intended, to, I think we had 25 last time. And then, of course, our pajama story time has also seen an uptick. So those programs are continuing to grow. If this Thursday morning story time gets much bigger, we're going to have to split it out. Because if we get past 60 as an average, we're going to be tipping the scales on the max capacity of the space. So
Wow.
yeah,
And
good habit or good problem to have.
why do you think that is? Is there more social outreach on there, or just
Yes.
more word of mouth?
I think yes to both of those things, but I also think that our programming outreach coordinator, Haley Wilson, is doing an incredible job. And she has a following.
She's a lot of
So,
fun.
Yeah. And we also, that morning Storytime program is we conduct that in partnership with the Children's Cabinet. So there's a whole different amount of crafts and things, but it's still an amazing program if they're not able to make it, which is sometimes the case. This is a long time partnership we've had with them for, the entire time I've been director, and I think, if I'm remembering correctly, about 6 months into my time as deputy. So it's been a long time, but those other programs are 100% Ms. Haley, just crushing it.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions before we move on?
All right.
Okay.
Ms. Westergaard, Ms. Ribelati.
Good evening, members of the board. For the record, my name is Tammy Westergaard, Westergaard, and I am the Senior Workforce Development Librarian in Residence from the Governor's Office of Economic Development, and my colleague, Michelle, will introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great night. My name is Michelle Rebeletti. I work under Tammy Westergaard, and it's Rebaleati.
Welcome.
It's great to be here. So what we'd like to do over the next 30 minutes is I want to share with you the reference website so that you know where you can get ongoing information about our program and what's being deployed through Carson City statewide. And then I'd like to share with you a video that gets to the heart of what the virtual reality field trips are designed to do in the process of individual career mapping. Then we would love to put you folks into virtual reality. You can see that the headsets are set up on the dais, And so we'll take about 10 minutes to do that. And then we'll come back and I'll share one more video with you folks about a use case that will be very typical of what we're going to be driving forward from this jurisdiction as well, if that sounds okay. Anything else that I'm forgetting that you guys want me to touch on that you can think of right now? Okay, so how about, first of all, yeah, oh, there we are. Yep. Oh, there we go. Great. So this website, you can get to it through the Governor's Office of Economic Development. So if you just go to, you'll remember that, GoEd, right? Google GoEd. You'll get to the main page, yeah, and then you go to the up to the top nav where you can see our programs. Then workforce development is right on the top, and then as you scroll down just to the second, there we are. So you'll just see the goggles, and you know you're in the right spot. Click on the Learn More button, and then over to the right, you see that pop up ICM resources. There you're going to find this particular site. So this is a site that we maintain as a team that is connected into the GoEd site. So, and in this space, you can see the top navigation bar. The home explains from a high level, what this individual career mapping is, who's it for, and all of those types of things. And then you can, you can poke around and get more information. There's a lot of drop downs in here. You can also find our contact information when we're in conferences, the photo library, videos. If you drop down a little bit on the videos up at the top, right there, just you can see that then these are broken up into different use case types. So, here we are in classrooms. If you, with employers, there's Ms. Holt. So anyway, you'll be able to, you can see that this is a really rich resource that has a large collection of the evolution of this story and also brings it straight up to date. So with that, I'd like to play a video from our homepage that talks about these virtual reality field trips that we've been discussing with you folks for the last couple months.
Hi, meet Karsten. He's a Nevadan like you. Like many Nevadans, Karsten is struggling to navigate the complex world of work. Choosing the right career path can be overwhelming. Many students and job seekers struggle to navigate career exploration, selection, and opportunities. Do you understand what your options are? But what if there was a way to explore Nevada's in-demand and resilient careers in an immersive and interactive environment? Welcome to Lifelike, America's first animated virtual reality field trips into the Department of Labor's O-Net taxonomy. Every age trying to understand the world of work can benefit. It doesn't matter if someone is 16, 26, 46, or 62. All ages can increase their labor market literacy and discover their new career. You can't be what you can't see. That's why our virtual field trips are meticulously developed to bring the world of work to life. We focus on high-demand industries and STEM-based occupations, ensuring relevant and engaging content for the state of Nevada. Plus, our field trips lead to certifications that can be obtained in months, not years. You may be asking yourself, what are Nevada's high-demand industries and occupations, and how can I explore the right career for me? These field trips showcase industries that align with Nevada's strengths, creating jobs suited to our state. High demand means jobs that are abundant and crucial to Nevada's growing industries. In our field trips, explore the daily work activities, tools, equipment, and skills used on the job. Learn about the work environments, required education, and available pathways. They also align with Sustainable Development Goals, focusing on sustainable industries and future occupations. You can explore smart machines, robots, drones, AI, and solar farms to better prepare for tomorrow's jobs. The Lifelike platform is versatile and accessible. Whether you're on a PC, tablet, smartphone, or using a VR headset, You can explore our content online on any major browser, making career exploration convenient and engaging for everyone. Join us in revolutionizing career exploration. Start today. Embark on a virtual journey to discover your future and start on your individual career mapping process. Understanding the world of work feels like a mystery, but it's easy with the individual career mapping process.
Yay, the happy dance. And so now we'd like to just play a very short 2-minute video that's a mashup of all the various types of field trips that you're going to get an example of just in a minute. So just about, I think it might be pushing 2.5 minutes. Okay, so with that, we will come up behind you folks on the dais, and we have all of the headsets are already powered up. So we'll guide you through kind of what is required, putting them on, stand up. We'll be whispering in your ear. Anything else you can think of?
No, nothing I can think of.
Okay, ready? Yeah, so let's do it. If that's okay with you guys.
If anyone has vertigo or any cause to.
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
You can, if you find yourself struggling without your glasses on, you can, I leave mine on.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, you keep them on. Because I can't see anything. Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can do it without, because I can't, I have glasses for close up and far away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Are they, do they fit right? Because I can tighten this up for you in the back. How's that feel? Do you feel like I've put you in the Iron Maiden?
I think you're gonna torture me is what you're gonna do. Oh, you know what? Get me out of there for a sec. How'd you?
I had to loosen it a little because I was like, my brain.
Wait, because I can't read some of that.
I know.
I really wish you could do this with us. I'm so sorry. Why don't we give her a
Go to the
turn?
library and try it. This is great. Yes, I can see.
Okay, wait. Is that helping? Oh. Oh, that's, oh. Oh, you look weird, Joy.
Yeah. I'm not sure which one goes to the. Which one
It
is
tells,
which.
because
Oh, yeah, on
this
the
says
in-
right.
three
I can
inside.
see
Yeah,
that.
there we go, yeah.
I can see it. You can't see it. I can.
Right.
Yeah, but, and
Okay.
then you're gonna want to
Michelle,
pull
in
the
fifth time, you're
trigger
way better
right
at this than I
there.
haven't done it in a
And
long
no,
time.
stay, your thumb goes right there, so that's the right
you go.
position. There you go.
Okay.
And so your thumb goes there, and then your trigger finger goes here. So do you see a white beam? A
I
white
do.
laser? Okay, great. So then choose which field trip you'd like to go into and pull the trigger and select it with the laser beam.
I'm just like looking
Walk the center of the cleared space.
No, please.
No, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Set virtual background?
Let me, I'm gonna grab this really quick just to see if you're in the right menu.
Okay, yeah,
She's in.
Okay, I got you. Here, I'll grab one this really quick.
okay.
I'm still trying to pick which one I want. Oh, you're picking here? That's okay. You're looking at the choices. I was scrolling through the menu. Like, what are my
Be right here with
options?
you, so it's close to where your head will be.
And I will also say that we have 35 of these already, and we're going to get 16 more
Here we go.
of these experiences built. They're currently being built. Okay, yes, I can
By
hear
Lifeline.
it.
Okay, you can put them on like goggles actually, and then I'll swing this.
Oh, okay.
Excellent.
There you go. And I gotcha.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna tighten it on.
Trustee Markle, which one
Alright,
are
so
you
I'm gonna
doing?
reset right there. Now you should be all set.
Okay.
Do you see the menu?
No, I do not, but that's my fault, not yours.
What was that?
No, but that's my fault, not
Oh
yours.
yeah,
It's
it
my,
might need to be a little tighter. Is
yeah,
that?
yeah, it's my
Is that a little
glasses,
better?
yeah.
It's on the
Yeah, I
side,
have
okay.
glasses. I wear them with glasses as well.
So do I want I got all
Here, I'll help you with
agriculture.
your hands if you don't mind.
Oh, that's right, because I'm doing it. Oh my God,
There
this
you
is
go.
so,
And you can see your hands underneath. Yeah.
no, I can't see anything.
Oh wow.
Like you and I are doing this?
Yeah. Well, the controllers, you might be able to see.
I can see the controllers and that's it?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yes. You can
Okay.
follow my voice.
Okay, so all I see is agriculture.
Okay.
That's all I see. So
Let's
what if I
see.
wanted something else?
Let me get back in here and see.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hard this back and forth.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. Oh, here, I'll grab that. Agriculture. So they're on the menu. I just moved it over. With your controller right here, you see how I use the.
Okay.
This is your selection tool.
Okay.
And that's
right.
the main one that you need to know.
Right.
And then when you look at the menu, imagine like you're clicking it on a mouse. Tighten it on. Sorry, it might be too tight. Is that
No,
good?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
Am
here's
I
your other
doing
one.
this?
Yes, that's great.
Wait.
Here, I'll got you. Sorry. There you go.
Okay.
All right, and then with your index finger, you can choose that arrow, like on the side, on the right side, you'll see a little drop-down menu that is an arrow, and you can use the arrow and your
Okay,
toggle
gotcha,
to go
gotcha.
down the menu.
Okay. No, that's not. Whoa.
Sounds great. Everyone's selecting their field trip.
Oh, nope. Nope. Come on.
Oh, it'll be your index finger. Right
Oh, sorry.
here. No
Go
worries.
back. You
And
can
then
tell
that
I don't play.
wand-
You can tell I do not play games.
It's okay. It's hard. It's especially if you haven't tried it before. It's always hard to try for your
Whoa,
first time.
whoa. Okay.
And are you able to hear it by chance?
Barely.
Okay, I'm gonna touch your goggles. There you go. Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, of course.
Okay, Chair Nichols, where are you?
I'm in I think a dialysis. Checking to be a dialysis technician.
Very cool.
This is weird.
Yeah. And then you just pick another one. Yeah. This is one. It says something that's unbound.
Oh, it might be right on the edge of the down. So we have overnight. Yeah, well, then we have the other, the field trips are the ones that, and the kids, and then other digital textbooks are the ones that we have. I'm right here. I can help you out.
Oh, okay,
Got
thanks. Yeah,
Welcome back.
that was weird. Wow.
New.
I thought I was going to fall over.
It's a good thing to sit down. It can.
Oh, it's way cool. Don't we have something like that?
So, yeah, oh, which is definitely more of that in all these structures. So, yeah. I'm so glad I got to meet. Yeah, me too. Me too.
Okay. Yeah, they do. They get used. Actually, do we want to resume? Is this okay? Is everybody? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll let you get back and we'll just get back to the pod video up there. Oh, you push down the power button, you can see right on the top, and it's 3 Mississippis. It's not a click. It's 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and then it goes off. Yeah, it's totally fine, yeah. Trustee Markle had a question about, do these resources, are they used at the library or are they used, off property? The answer to that is both. Career seekers, people that are looking for information and in the individual career mapping journey, they would use going into the field trips and so forth. If they wanted to do it in the headsets, they would use it here at the library. But as you saw in the animated video, you can access this content. It's browser-based, so you can see it on a computer. It's a totally different experience. It's one of the reasons why we wanted to show you that little mashup of what those field trips look like, on that video, and compared to what it's like to put it on your head. It's so unbelievably different. So that said, when a job seeker becomes a student, because the idea behind this is you're exploring the world of work, you're identifying where the gaps are in your key skills and abilities. So then you're able to identify what training program you need to enter in. There are 5 industry recognized certification programs that have course companions in virtual reality. I was just explaining to our citizen here that they are one-to-one course companions. So for the dialysis technician program, there is a virtual reality simulation that is directly related to that program of study. So then that becomes a textbook. So once the student is enrolled in that program, they take textbooks home. So then you check out the headset and you use it at home, in your course of study during the program, and then you check it back into the library. And that's, it's a great question because it's also illustrates the connection between the public library and our role, and then the academic libraries and their role. So they also have these headsets. So for example, that dialysis technician program is based at College of Southern Nevada. So that program has headsets that they check out to their students once someone enrolls in that. And if a person wants to pursue the dialysis tech program, the only place that you can do that in the state of Nevada, which is a problem, is the College of Southern Nevada. Although we did have, there's an example of how we made all of this work. And by that, I mean Trustee Markle, Director Holt, myself, in our role at the State Library, where there was an individual in McDermott who was able to complete the program in a distance learning fashion using this textbook and get her dialysis certification. She ended up doing the clinicals in Winnemucca. But it's a great example of how industry training and the logistics of all of that and where things are, accessible for any Nevadan, it can get complicated and it can get tricky, especially in healthcare fields, for example, where you absolutely have to have clinical hours. There's zero replacement for clinical hours on your way to becoming a dialysis technician. But what the textbook does is that it can truncate the amount of time that it takes to sort of get up to speed with the equipment, with a whole, variety of things. And then, just make that a much more efficient process for the individual going through the program. So, great question. I would like to play a video right now. Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm not sure that everyone heard me when we were all in the goggles, but right now we do have 35 of these field trips available that you can access either on these headsets or in the browser, as Tammy mentioned. And we will, currently another 16 are being built out. So I'll keep y'all posted when we get the new ones.
Yeah, exactly. And so this video that you're about to see, I'm the award-winning director and producer behind them. So you guys will be seeing your video soon. But anyway, so here it is. It's in the classroom, and then we'll show the jackpot cohort right there, that top one. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
The students they just took the NCRC practice test. With the VR headsets, they'll be using the Mathper Tech to be working on some of the other aspects of the test they might have not done so well at and be able to progress.
My teacher brain is going, okay, but we're activating prior knowledge, we're making real world connection. If they're able to learn in that different way and engage in that way and improve their scores on this, taking the practice test, and we can watch and see if they make that growth across the way, we can really see if this is a meaningful way for them to connect and to learn.
Smart also that we're getting all of this stuff through the library makes it more accessible going through the library, I feel like. And like
excited. It's exciting to get to see these students come in and participate in the library programs and then succeed at what they're trying to accomplish.
Our students passed the NCRC.
Pretty great.
Oh, we used a lot of the VR stuff. Nick helped us a lot, and Mr. Strada did help us a lot too.
What was it like to use VR to actually study for a specific test?
It was fun. More like interactive, and like was like in front of me like I was in the classroom.
Position of power. I just passed my NCRC. It does feel like a relief, especially because we've been working for these past few weeks.
So that is just a prime example of how exploring the world of work engages some curiosity about jobs, and then that inspires individuals to want to know more about what key skills and abilities do I need in order to compete for that job. It's a perfect example of, as I was describing, there's a textbook, a virtual reality simulation that aligns with the dialysis program. The one that they're talking about right there, that aligns with the National Career Readiness Certificate, ACT's NCRC, or Work Keys. And I'm sure you've all heard of Work Keys. That certificate is considered a work-ready certificate, meaning if an individual has that certificate, when they go for day one on the job, employers in STEM fields consider them work-ready. So I like to call it the base layer. It's like Long John's. All the rest of the industry recognized credentials stack on top of it, but in and of itself, it has value. That is a part of what the individual career mapping program involves. So taking people where they have no idea about the world of work, helping them see into it, helping them assess their capacity in the moment, in real time, see where those gaps might be, then study for the NCRC. The NCRC tests an individual's capacity in 3 domains: workplace forms, graphic literacy, and applied mathematics. The way that we tutor individuals through that process is typical study resources for workplace forms and for graphic literacy. Those are licensed. We license those through ACT. And the way they study for the applied math portion of it is in VR. So it's a really interesting lab to see sort of how people respond to preparing for a test with traditional materials and also with this virtual reality resource. Yeah.
Just to be most clear about the textbooks, these are not, in case anyone's envisioning that these are the similar to like an electronic book. So a simulation of you sitting in front of a book, that is not what it is.
Right.
As it relates to the dialysis technician, for example, the textbook piece is you're in the experience and you then, something comes up like having to understand is it the corporal artery?
Yeah.
And so that appears, and then you can press on a specific area and it will pop up and explain to you what that is whilst you're in that experience. I just wanted to clarify that it is still very much a simulated experience, but not in the traditional, I'm having a virtual experience of sitting here with a book in front of me.
Right.
That makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it's much more than an ebook, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Very interactive.
Yeah. Right. And there have been studies that indicate the retention of these concepts, various principles in, the STEM fields. They are retained at like a 70% higher level than through traditional instructional materials. So that is the process that that we are advancing. We currently have a cohort of about 32 folks from various groups across the state who are just now getting into studying for the NCRC, and we'll be proctoring those exams at the end of next month. So we'll have results about how everybody did. We're hopeful that it's the same success rate as we saw in Jackpot, because it was 100%. So yeah, that is just a high-level overview of this program, and happy to take any questions. I don't know how, anything else you want to add, but it's fun to share it with you all, and we really appreciate the residency opportunity because it is an example of how state programs come to ground so that we can better learn what, folks that are coming into the libraries, what their needs are, what their expectations are. All of our economies are kind of different, from county to county across the state, but we're a lot more alike than we are different, that's for sure. And our efforts definitely address the challenges that are across the board everywhere. And that's why that NCRC is so important because it really does provide those work-ready skills that are valuable to anybody the minute they have that NCRC. And it can be attained at 4 different levels. You can earn it at a bronze level, silver, gold, and platinum. And there's all kinds of information about this credential online from ACT's website. You can see how many people have NCRC certificates state by state, at what level, all of those things. And I can tell you right now, the platinum level achievement of the NCRC is not easy. And 3 of those kids from Jackpot achieved platinum scores in the math part. So it's really super interesting.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
What's the demographic, makeup of the 30-some students you've got?
Yeah, thank you, Trustee Markle, for that question. It is what are considered not just underserved population groups, but very difficult to reach. So they are reentry individuals, they are homeless in homeless shelters, they're rural folks, who are like in Jackpot and all of those, very difficult to reach. So that's the primary population. And that is what the charter is of the grant that was provided from the AG's office, was to focus on those population groups. And we know that all boats rise, right? So if we're helping the least of us among us, then everybody is better. Yeah.
And will those students be able to go on to complete one of the 5 programs? And is location a problem? I mean, do they have to live somewhere where, like in Southern Nevada, if they want to be a dialysis technician? Or, I know we did one in McDermott, but
Yeah. Yeah. No,
what's the...
that's a great question. The answer to that is yes and no, just like anything else, right? But the tuition that is available for the folks that we're taking through these, through the individual career mapping process it is there. It's not related to the initial federal grant of how all of this got started. That tuition has been expended, but all of these difficult to reach population groups, they all qualify for support. So it depends on what it is that they want to do, because there are much more than 5 different types of training programs that they might be interested in. And one of them there are a number of them in the catalog that are offered in a distance learning program. So it kind of just depends. The healthcare ones do tend to anchor people, within a specific jurisdiction. But a lot of the other ones don't. The MT1 is available online. There's data analytics and other, types of computational thinking training programs that are available completely online.
And does the state, is the state thinking about or making considerations for these students who, given the fact that Nevada is a very rural state, to allow these students who are from underserved, underprivileged populations and they're rural to actually complete some of these things where they are?
Well, if the training program itself is set up as a distance learning program, then it doesn't become a problem. That's where some of the constraints are. But for the most part, I feel like maybe dialysis might be the only training program that is only offered in Southern Nevada that really does require someone to be down there, because of just because that particular program, they haven't repeated. Unfortunately, they haven't repeated that since we made that case. So that's just a disappointment. But they know it's a problem.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt
Yeah.
you, but I think that would be a really good case study, and I'm just curious, why haven't they repeated that?
I think I'll send you to Stefan
Yeah,
with the DWED.
Give me someone's information. I would like to ask that question.
No,
because,
I will, and they're aware. I mean, the whole healthcare community is aware of the crisis with dialysis in particular. DaVita operated the dialysis center in Winnemucca, and last year closed it because they said that they couldn't get talent. And so they closed it. And so the people that lived in Winnemucca who were reliant upon that clinic had to move. Zero option. You have to move or you'll die. So it is a big healthcare crisis globally, honestly. And this is a wonderful solution to actually making that available to, Nevadans, up and down this from one end to the other. And we showed that it did work. But yeah, so where we're based within the Governor's Office of Economic Development, within the innovation-based economic development group. So that's led by Karsten Heiss. And so really what you can think of that is that's like the R&D lab of GoEd. So our charter and our job is to make sure that these use cases from this residency within those different underserved population groups across the state, that we demonstrate, that we make sure that we're reaching out to those. And that's why we're always documenting all of this, because then it's not our job to scale it. Then it goes into a different, department, and hopefully it will scale. And it's just another reason why it's so important and so cutting edge that this library, as well as the North Las Vegas library system, is, leading the way. It's unprecedented what we're doing. Yeah.
So Tammy, I have I have a question. I know we talked about this a little bit, but now that you've been doing this for a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's say tomorrow I walk into the library and I say, "Hey, I'm really struggling. I'm not sure what I want to do."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm offered the headset and and I'm looking and I do a little bit more research and I come back to you and I say I want to I come to you and say, "Now what? I think this is what I want to do."
Yeah.
Are we at this time taking a wait list? Because I know last we talked, we had already had the students picked out, the initial students picked out. So do we have a wait list? Do we tell that person who just walked in, "Yeah, sorry"?
We have, we are working in cohorts. So the current cohort is full, but then we put them on the name for the next cohort that starts in June, really. That's kind of what the answer is right now. And when, because part of this model is a train the trainer model. And so, for example, that jackpot video that you just watched, those students, there were 10 students from Jackpot last year that participated in this program. 3 of them were juniors. Those 3 juniors right now are seniors, and they are leading a cohort of 11 kids at Jackpot. So this train the trainer model is active and it's happening, and that's what will happen when your workforce development librarian position comes online. They will be learning to stand up this method, and then they will be empowered to to spread it all out. But even in the meantime, anybody that comes into the Carson City Library and wants to get going on the individual career mapping process, we can get them started on that. And then when it gets to the point where they're studying for the NCRC, that will kick in, in June, because that current cohort is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anybody
If that
can
makes
come-
sense.
Yes, but anybody can come in at least at this point and say, "I really want to start studying." Obviously not dialysis right now, but any of the others that have online courses, and we can help them out right now.
Well, we can help them out by getting them into the headsets, and they can begin that journey of mapping their career. Because one of the things that's really interesting about this is that sometimes we don't know what we think we know. So you go through this individual career mapping process and you begin to understand the world of work through this lens of in-demand occupations, of having STEM skills, of being able to measure whether or not you have computational thinking capacity. All those pieces, those are really important, and it helps the individual increase their labor market literacy level. So think of this as a literacy, just like any other kind of literacy, digital literacy, basic literacy. It starts at 0, and then as you move up the learning scaffold, your understanding of it all increases. And that's the whole point of all of this. I mean, you said it really well. You can't be what you can't see. And one of the things that's so tricky is that the world of work is so accelerated that no one understands the human work in the age of smart machines. So the jobs that are the in-demand jobs that are right in front of us are not necessarily ones that we even know what they are right now. And as the lithium circular economy continues to influence, especially Northern Nevada, that's part of the focus of the collection of this next batch of field trips. They will all be related to key skills and abilities and occupations that have to do with either lithium extraction, battery production, or battery recycling. I was just at Lithium America yesterday or the day before. Yeah, and the life of that mine is 100 years. So this is going to affect people that haven't even been born yet.
And I would just say too, the way that the individual career mapping process works is at the onset, and at the very least, it will allow the user to have a better idea of what they're good at. So if someone comes in and says, I, for example, was doing the electrician field trip, I would say if someone asked me, do you think you'd be a good electrician? I would say no. The math is beyond my capacity. But it might be possible that I will go into a computational assessment and it turns out that I'm actually much better at understanding the math as it relates to an electrician's job. And so it will start out with allowing folks to really, at the very least, expand their idea of what they are capable of.
Is this where the Nevada Career Explorer comes in?
Correct.
Tammy,
Yeah.
how are you guys measuring success? Like to when somebody gets placed in a career or
That's
in
a
college? Yeah, how are you
Yeah,
guys measuring success?
that's a great question. So we have, I'm happy to share all the metrics with Director Holt and then have that as follow-up material to this meeting. But it relates to actually how we're training the trainers, because we want this to spread, and the state doesn't, its intention isn't to have a huge army of career navigators at the state level. It's to teach this methodology and to provide the resources at the local level. So a lot of it has to do with those folks. But to answer your question, we are measuring success in terms of these cohorts of people completing the individual career mapping process, like at different levels. There's feedback loops along the way that happy to share with all that with you. And there is a dashboard that is soon to be accessible on the website that we showed. So I'm sure probably by the next time I come in here, the next quarter or whatever, this dashboard will be visible and you'll be able to see how things are changing sort of in real time, because we have a number of surveys and all of that. The ultimate measure of success, yes, is employment, but it's also comes from the other end. It's from employers' perspective as well. You know, are they getting access to the right talent? You know, and are they getting these work-ready individuals that then shortens the process of onboarding and, you know, remediation? And a lot of these STEM fields, employers find themselves in a position of having to remediate individuals in a variety of ways, but especially with regard to applied math and, you know, data, you know, being savvy about graphically literate relative to reading information from a gauge or understanding what this graph is trying to tell you. And
So
that's
you
where
measure
that
kind of from both ends.
Oh, totally
Student side
coming
and the employer side.
100%, which is also very unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you, and I'm pretty sure you do this, but are there, like after the student completes the NCRC and is work ready
Mhm.
and has determined that they want to become an electrician
Yeah.
or whatever, is there an opportunity for employers to meet that student and, you know, generally assess what their skill level is and perhaps pay for their education?
Well, whether or not an employer pays for that, you know, that it sort of happens in, you know, in that whole process. But it really is a match.com for job seekers and employers. So the short answer to your question is yes. And it's part of what we're focused on is as far as like these use cases, because they're in a lot of ways it's small and this is not about scale. It's about like, you know, representative examples of how does it work and what worked well and what didn't work well. So because they're small, we can do a lot of the matchmaking, you know, in person in a sense, you know, because we get a sense of what the needs are of the individual going through the process, what they're looking for. And then because of the library network, you know, all libraries are connected to their communities, you know, knowing what employers are looking for and all of that. So, yes.
Does this cohort meet together at any time?
Well, it depends on where they're from. So the ones, for example, we are, I think is it 7 individuals at the Help of Southern Nevada? I think, yeah, 7. So there are 7 youth, because you can live in that shelter until age 22. So there are 7 youth that are between, I think it's 19 and 22. So they all meet as a cohort. We have those 11 up in Jackpot. They're all together. We have a cohort of 3 at the Domestic Violence Resource Center in Washoe County. So they all meet together. So that's kind of how that works. Yeah.
What's the biggest obstacle you're facing?
Oh, that's such a great question. We are way too thin. I mean, that's what everybody says, but this is a statewide deployment and there's 3 people. And so you're looking at, and yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the biggest obstacle. We're trying to do something that is really sophisticated in its aspirations, which lots of people are trying to do that, but we're on the ground. We are actually doing it. And it's hard. There's just a lot of moving pieces all the time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but it's we all believe that access to information, authoritative information, is a fundamental right of every citizen. And so as we work to bring these kinds of programs that are very targeted to learning things so that you can be marketable in your skill sets, that is such an incredibly important thing for library as a library service.
I have a follow-up question
Yeah.
to something that Trustee Markle brought up, matching employers. And the reason this came up is because I'm thinking of a gentleman that came to our meeting. He owned the business. Was he a
Gerd.
welder?
Oh, Gerd. He owns Weinberg Machinery.
So my question is, and I know there's just 3 of you, are we letting employers out there know this is going on?
No, yeah.
And they have an opportunity to see all of this, so we can, maybe they can say, hey, so I've got 5 openings, I'd
Yeah.
like to help.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, when you go back to the website and you do the drop down of the types of videos, there's one called Employers, and you're going to see Mr. Papinga featured there, as well as others in like Dynamic Steel, the hospital trustee in Pershing County. So the answer to that's yes, but it would be great if as you have connections with employers, to spread the word.
Yeah, I think it'll be all hands to the pump there. I really do think it's being ready to go stump for the library, and for, I think a lot of it, and maybe I'm being naive, is just letting people know that we have this going, letting employers know that we're out there, this exists, and these are the things that we're doing to try and provide a candidate pool for them.
So what if we, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but what if we did a employer night at the library where we started, I guess, small, but we have an awful lot of industry employers even here in Carson City, and invite them, Terry, out here to the library and kind of show them also what we're doing.
I think that, so, the programming and how it's all set for the library and everything, Director Holt does a really great job. And, I'm sure that as you move forward with the new person and kind of all of that, those opportunities to share out this story, because the spotlight, I mean, you guys deserve the spotlight.
Well, I think the short answer to that is yes. Probably not before we get someone hired and trained in the workforce development position, but certainly, yeah. And that's something has been part of my vision, but also part of my vision for this long term for us at the library, because we're not going to be lucky enough to have Tammy and Michelle forever,
Right.
is that we can carry this forward. And so at the very least, we'll have learned, we'll have been part of the prototype to a certain extent, and we'll have a model to follow, which will include bringing employers into the fold, or starting the trickle that will hopefully turn into a wave of employers being involved in this and getting folks into jobs that much sooner, and I dare say easier.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't want to jinx us because I haven't had the greatest luck lately when I go on record saying stuff. So
Yeah, because it would be nice, especially the big employers. I'm thinking of Lithium. They have the money. they could maybe, maybe pay tuition for some of the students. I think that would be a great idea.
I just have one more strange question. What about prisoners?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That's the reentry population that she was
okay,
talking about.
the reentry. I mean, I wasn't really thinking prisoners. I was thinking more military or like housewives. What an
Returning
old-
military is
an
what those
old
are
word.
called. Yeah.
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 Has anybody reached out to or have any relationships been pursued with any of our local labor unions? Because if you want to work for an employer that's part of that union, you can't go to that employer.
Right.
You have to go in through the labor union.
Right.
And that is a paid program.
Yep.
And
Yes.
so like that's an entirely different path of entry that a lot of people don't have any idea how to start.
Yep. Couldn't agree with you more. The short answer to that is yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, Tammy and I are the children of union members.
Okay, by household too,
So-
but like, if you don't know about that, if you don't know that you have that option for a paid apprenticeship, or that you can't just go apply at that contractor,
Mhm.
like, you would have no idea.
Right.
But they're always looking for people as well.
Right. That's exactly right.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank
We
you for
enjoyed
having
the field
us.
trip
Oh,
and the
good.
presentation. We really
Great.
appreciate it.
Yeah, we're happy to be here.
Thanks,
Happy to be
Tammy.
here. Thank you guys.
Michelle.
all. Thank you.
Okay, let's go on to item 5B, trustee announcements and any request for information. Is there anything you want on next month's agenda?
I don't have a request for information, but I'd like to make an announcement that last time I went into the library, I don't know how long she's been there, but I was just really happy to see Dolly Parton. It made me smile. And also it was really busy on a Sunday, which also made me smile.
I
So-
know we have been having a great turnout on Sundays, and I don't know if you noticed, but the thing that holds Dolly up in the back is fastened by her pearl ring, which I think is the most fabulous part of the whole thing. Yeah. So yeah, we get to hang out with Dolly Parton every day. I mean, can this job get any better?
Anyone else? No? Okay. Well, I'm sure you and I will talk and get some stuff on the agenda. Okay, and then item number 6, public comments. If anyone from the public can come up at this time and speak on any matter that was not specifically included on the agenda, come on up and. No? All righty, then we will move on. We will adjourn. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
And Melody, thank you again for coming and staying. We appreciate it.